The moment is now. Are you ready?
Let's play Armis. Okay, let's take a look at this setup. As you can see, there are a couple of sea vessels on the rear wall. I don't like that, so I want to make those changes. I also would prefer to make sure that my Marines are covering all of the pieces within the setup zone. 1, 2, 3. So this Marine is able to cover the child all the way out to the eastern part of my setup zone. That looks pretty good. Let's work with it. The computer chooses to switch positions. I haven't seen that in quite a while. So I get to move first. Let's see. The president is here, but let's just take a look at our opponent's setup. Even though it's the same, it's a different perspective when you need to look at it as an opponent. So let's see. President is here. It can go here, and it can go here. That's fine. Alright, the nuke is over here. Using the child, I can probably get to that pretty quickly within 2 moves, 3 at worst case scenario. The helicopter is here. Alright, no threat to the deep waters. It will take a while to get over here to these waters. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can't get to 2. So that's Eastern Corridor is pretty good with the helicopter. The jet, again, also pretty good. No imminent threat in the deep waters, the way its flight path is situated at this time. And the 2 Marines, I just have to be a little bit careful when I'm trying to put in, or should I say, when I'm trying to use the child to get to the nuke. So I'll put my Marine out front. Usually I don't do that. Usually I like to keep my Marines back, but I'm putting it forward because I want to put my child as far forward as possible. And right now the only true threat is the Marine. However, depending on where I put the child, if I put it here, then the helicopter can go 4 spaces, 1, 2, 3, 4, and capture it. If I put it here, then the president can take it directly. So, and even if I put it here, the helicopter can take it with 2 moves, and so on and so forth. So I need to be a little bit careful with that. Let's take a look at what my opponent, where my opponent moved again. Went from here to here. Alrighty. Now I moved the mover over here so that I can launch the aircraft carrier. However, again, I'm still to find an avenue by which I can get to the nuke with my child. All right, we're both on opposite ends of the greater sea, or the Great Sea. So both on white squares, and so therefore neither one are in danger of the other. since he's on this side of the board, that would be the east side of the board, and his other Marine is on the west side of the board, even though they're kind of close, they're actually covering each other. I don't want to view it as too much weight on one side or the other. It's still balanced, and so therefore I don't need to have too much concern of pushing resources to another side of the board. At this point, working up the middle is just fine. Now, with this move here, my opponent can go 1, 2, 3. It's still out of range of this piece, so there's no threat going on. The only piece this Marine is threatening is this one right here, the Coast Guard. Okay, a lot of times when my opponent's Marine goes into the expanse, as it has in this case, I'd like to chase after it using one of my executives and the Army. But my President and Army is over here, and my Vice President is over here. So it would take, and the diplomat is blocking the path for my Army to go in this direction. So I'll forego that line of thinking for right now. Now, with my aircraft carrier here, again, I have to be mindful of my opponent's air forces. This one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so if I went here, he would need to fly from here to here in order to capture it. This reserve is really not going to be going anywhere anytime soon, so I don't have too much to worry about that. So I can go here with no problem. And so I'm thinking, if I use my aircraft carrier to go here, I can use it as a bridge to go from here onto the aircraft carrier, onto coastal waters, and onto my opponent. See, my opponent doesn't have that luxury. It has to go all the way around the coastal waters. Whereas I can bridge the coastal waters by using the deep sea on top of, or vis-a-vis, the aircraft carrier. That's a great move if you can do it. Now, if my opponent recognizes it, it may flee. If it does, then I will more than likely use my aircraft carrier, or I will more than likely board my aircraft carrier. I don't know yet. Now, because my opponent lined up for the child, doesn't mean that it will take it, but it's an open grab. Alright, now now this is a little dangerous, okay? Let's see here. This is a little dangerous. I do have to bring reinforcements in. The question is, this right here is too much weight into the expanse. I have no one in the expanse. My Marine is here, but my intent is for it to be all the way over here. That's even further away from it, all of this weight. So I really need to get some of the forces in here, and now the question is which ones. Alright, if I bring the helicopter, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is too close to my opponents without more coverage than just my Marine. If I bring my other Marine over here, that would be enough. I don't want to lose out on this opportunity to get... Oh, I just saw this. Okay, there's another way of looking at this. All of this weight on this side, and this is what I should look for at the beginning anyhow. When there's so much weight in one particular area, whether it's the expanse, the eastern corridor, the seaside region, if there's a lot of weight outside of the setup zones in one particular area, then that's usually an indication that the opponents there's a weakness somewhere else. And in this case, the weakness is right here. If I use my Marine to take my opponent's Marine, the only true offensive piece that is this Vice President. And with my Marine here, it's directly threatening the Vice President, in addition to directly threatening my opponent's reserve, which brings us that much closer to the end of the game. Now, with this weight over here, it's not viewed as too much in the expanse. It's now viewed as not so much coming down into my setup zone. My only care right now should be for these two pieces right here, my reserve and my flag. If I'm able to make sure that these two are covered, and I have my Vice President as well as my Marine that are very close to these two pieces, even my diplomat can protect against my opponent's military. It can't protect against its my opponent's executive, but it can against the military. So I can even get that one in here towards the last minute. It's going to take at least 2 moves for these two pieces to get down close enough to threatening range of these two pieces. Not so much for this one, but this one is, has to drill through this wall of pieces. So, but it's only 2 moves, 1, 2, to get to my opponent's reserve. My opponent's other pieces can't get there as fast as I can. So therefore, this ends up being the better move. 1, 2, 3. Now, by right, this Marine should be backtracking. But if it's looking to do something offensively, it might be going, its momentum is already in this direction. So it might continue that thought in this direction. But in my estimation and opinion, it should go over here, covered by the president here, and not too terribly far from the reserve. Now that's a good move because that's a good move if you're thinking about protecting the reserve. But now the question is, what's protecting the Vice President? Nothing. So now these pieces are even further from protecting the flag and the reserve. So at this point, the nuke is the closest thing to saving this game, but with it tied up behind these other pieces, it's not going to do anything either. If the reserve was over here where the jet was at, then it might have a chance. But I still haven't taken at least 3 of my opponent's military pieces. As such, the nuke would not be able to get activated. So it would have to sit there. this game is a good example of why you don't want to put too much weight in one direction. Well, well, I was just one move away from a shutout. My opponent took my child with its president to avoid a shutout. With that move, because it took my child, it lost its diplomat and its religion. So therefore, it took out more of his own than my own with his own move. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good day.
It will capture your heart and your mind. Let the whole world see us through your eyes. Land, air, and sea victory.